Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Welcome back to more awesome stuff badly and loudly here at the Yard House in Santana Row in Santa Clara. I had a bunch of meetings with people here in Santana Row, so I decided to grab a table and a beer and camp out here rather than trying to find my way to an office. Hopefully the rest of the team will find me somehow for anyone's patience or batteries run out. See if we got the invite.
Did you have the boulder shake?
The chocolate?
Yeah. From the quarter?
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
how's it going?
good.
Huh?
Good to see you, Daniel.
Good to see you too.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. How are you?
Good. It's I'm calling from a pub. I had a bunch of meetings, and I need to find someplace with free Wi-Fi. So I'm breaking my luncheon fast and drinking a beer in order to not feel guilty about taking up a table.
Sounds good.
So can you hear me okay? Things are really loud, so it's kind of muted here.
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, really, really interesting week. Very interesting day. So, on Wednesday I started fasting because, like, nothing was happening on the job front. All the people I talked to the week before who seemed really excited about me had disappeared. And, it was the end of the month. I was like, okay, God, as I told you, right? I trust you. I know that you love me. I'm not feeling shame. I'm not feeling guilt. But I am just a little confused and a little concerned that I'm not hearing you right. So I really need you to speak to me. I just need to know what I'm supposed to be doing. If it's just sit and wait, I'm fine with that. But if it is there's something I should be doing or not doing, let me know. So, and then it was also weird because my daughter had been sick in a really minimal way for the last 2 weeks. So she would get like 100-degree fever just when it was time to leave for school, so we couldn't take her to school, and then she'd be fine the rest of the day. And so I had no time to do anything. Like, I didn't even catch up on email for a week. And it's like, okay, God, this is weird. Are you trying to teach me that I can't just do what I want? That I have to really ask you every time I want to do something to see if it's your will? And so I said, okay, God, if you want to get my attention, you got my attention. So Wednesday morning I started fasting, and Thursday, Anjali started, she was well enough to go to school. Actually, even on Wednesday, when I was fasting, she actually just sat and watched TV for 3 hours, which she never does. My son does that all the time, but she's always wanting me to go play with her. Mm-hmm. And so I finally got to catch up on email and reply to recruiters and all these things. I thought that was a good sign. Thursday she went to work, so I went from a water-only fast to a soup-only fast. So I was doing soup and bread. And had a long talk with Sandhya last night. We were actually both awake enough to have a long talk, which is an uncommon thing in our family. And I said, I'm just wanting to hear from God what I should do, and I want to hear from you if there's anything you think I should do. I want to not trust myself. So one of the things we agreed to was to look at contract positions rather than just full-time. And the other was to consider San Francisco options. If it's a really good opportunity. And then the third was that I should apply to Apple, or I should at least look at jobs at Apple. And I really don't want to go back to Apple for a whole bunch of reasons. One of which is just, it would be really awkward now that the Christian Fellowship is doing so much awesome stuff without me to show up again.
Yeah.
Kind of a silly reason, but it's actually the biggest reason. And you look like you have ridiculously long hair because of that towel.
Sorry. I actually don't know what my hair. Oh, it's not ever. Okay.
Yeah. You just like a villain in one of Rohan's TV shows. Really long hair. There's a male villain in one of Rohan's TV shows, Diamond Squad. He's got this ridiculously long, flat hair hanging off to the side. Anyway, so last night, still there?
Yeah.
So the upshot was, so I had a nap the afternoon, so I went ahead and stayed up late, and I went to the Apple website, and I applied for a half dozen jobs. Half of them like engineering management type jobs, the other half Ruby on Rails developers. And so that was my humbling myself and saying, okay, God, if I'm completely wrong about everything, and you want me to go back to Apple, I want to give you the opportunity to do that. So this morning I went to an employment agency that a friend of mine recommended, which was also a humbling experience, because this is like a generic employment agency. And they help you with a questionnaire saying, how many years of experience do you have driving? How many years of experience in construction? How fast do you type? Do you know how to use Microsoft Excel? And all these things. And it's not, it's a nice place. It wasn't humiliating, but it was definitely humbling. It's like, but no, I'm not one of those people. I shouldn't have to go through this process. I should be ushered in with, a glass of Chardonnay into the back office to speak to the partner. But here I am sitting at a table, filling out forms, reminding myself, okay, I'm humbling myself. This is good. This means God is in it, right? And so, and yesterday I just sat and wrote down, okay, God, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. It is my assignment. It is not my responsibility to get a job.
Right.
Conversation I had with you, conversation I had with David Wednesday night. It's not about being good enough or smart enough. It's just I got to be available, and when I hear something, I do it. And if I don't hear it, trust that God will make it louder until I hear it. So that's where I was at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I met at a breakfast place with my friend Ryan Derfler. And he's been part of the Entrepreneurs Club with me. He originally joined the group just to hang out with me, but then God's been taking him on this weird entrepreneurial journey. He's tried to find a job. That fell through. He's tried to start a consulting business, and that's been going weirdly. Like, people will make all these big promises and then disappear and then show up again. And it's all these things keep happening. He has what I call the beautiful feet gift. He just randomly runs into all the right people at exactly the right time for no particular good reason. So when I was doing this series on TBC about building a platform, my last article was pitching them on funding a startup. And that wasn't my original plan. Originally, I wanted to get them to hire me for a job. But looking at the problem they need to solve, I said, this is a hard problem that you have to just do the lean startup thing and iterate and fail an awful lot of times quickly in order to build the right thing. And you need something that's arm's length so the failure doesn't hurt you. You need something that can be stable for 2 years so that people have the right mix of urgency and stability. And you need 2 co-founders. Right? Because any sane startup, you need at least 2 co-founders. Right? Me doing the way I did it was completely insane on so many levels. But that was kind of the point. So I said, you need one guy who's a platform guy who really understands technology and how to build things. And you need one guy who's kind of the sales and relationship guy. Someone who talks to everybody, knows everybody, empathizes with everybody, and can really be down and dirty on the street. And the person I thought of, after I wrote that line, I thought of this guy, Ryan. Because he knows everybody and thinks of, and, he and I mesh really well. And God's just got his hands so powerfully on this guy's life in just so many ways. And so nothing happened with that. In 2 weeks, I get occasional emails from Eric with articles and links and thank yous, but no progress on getting hired. And so Ryan says, I got something I want to show you. So he's went on a business trip to Philadelphia, and there's somebody who wants to hire him. And there's a church that wants to hire him to do consulting. He's trying to decide between the two, and could he make one part or the other because it's a philanthropic organization trying to do performance. But he realized what he really wanted to do was this website he built that I actually helped him get the domain for, called Hands On Christian, which is basically taking people out in the streets to live out their faith. So he works with all these big donors, and he'll take them out into the inner city and have them actually give food to people, which they've never done before. They've never been hands-on with their faith, all just word of mouth. And he basically had put together a business plan for building a company around this idea as a platform for connecting churches together. And start the pilot in the Bay Area and then scale it out worldwide. And he put me down as a co-founder, which I think he'd seen the articles, but I don't think he'd read any of them. So I said, okay, I have to use the bathroom. You go read this. And I handed him the article that I had written about doing a startup, with him. And basically, he and I, independently, 2 weeks apart, had written the exact same business plan. Or the plan for the exact same business, right? A Christian, for-profit business that job is to connect the kingdom of God and give people meaningful experiences of what it means to be a Christian. So, and then we had a rough relationship. I said, okay, I think that counts as a word from God. And, here's the best part. He's got a pending job offer that he's kind of holding at arm's length. So he has 2 weeks to pull this off. He knows a guy. He knows all these people with money who occasionally offer to throw money at him. And so he contacted one of them. He said, okay, give me 2 weeks. Come up with a pitch. I'll get 10 or 15 high net worth Christian businessmen in a room with you, and you can pitch them on the idea. And so he was coming to me saying, I got this crazy idea. I don't know what you think about this, but I got a room full of Christian businessmen that I need to pitch it to in 2 weeks. Do you want to help?
Wow.
I'll drink to that.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, that's the right, and right now I'm still assuming that for planning purposes, we're supposed to do this pitch, and it's supposed to be awesome. There's a very good chance that they'll say no, right? They won't give us enough money. Either they won't fund it at all, because they say they're not ready, or it'll take them a few weeks to make a decision, or they'll say we can fund a little bit of it for some period of time.
Mm-hmm.
In either case, I should have a job, right? Ideally a job that would allow me to work on this on the side if that's what it takes. Because this is, it's not the Swan Factory, but it's like the first spin-off of the Swan Factory, right? Is using all these new technology to build something that would be super awesome and super scalable. So the thought was awake right now. Let's see. Last week, David was planning to come, and he just completely lost track of the time. It was a bummer. So so Ryan is a millennial, and in fact his basic consulting is teaching large organizations how to handle millennials, and all about transparency and authenticity and connection and purpose and meaning. And this is like a complete revelation to most of the organizations we work with, which are just so structured around hierarchy and predictability and formality. And so the product pitch he was starting from was a place where people can come and find out about cool stuff that's happening. It's kind of more of a real-time presence thing. Did I send you the customer engagement or customer empowerment, designing for empowerment link?
Maybe. Is that the... It's not the Elixir Conf one, is it?
It's not one. I can barely hear you for some reason.
You sent me something from Elixir Conf that I haven't had to watch yet.
that was the second video I watched yesterday.
Okay.
Let's see. My Twitter feed. Probably the best place to. Yes, I do use Twitter as my external brain. This was a link that Brett Vector posted that Let's see if I can find it. Actually, no, it's Facebook. Joe Edelman. So, right, his website is Redefining Software, so you know that I like him. That is really chocolatey.
Cool.
So his big pitch, Edelman's big pitch, is that right now our devices and our websites are designed for engagement. Whatever annoying, nagging little details they can throw at us, they'll keep us looking at our phones, staying on Facebook. People are working really, really hard to get us addicted to our virtual world and virtual product. He said, what if we designers had a moral responsibility to build devices that didn't keep users enthralled to ourselves, but help them fulfill their goals? So he gave the example of someone whose phone would ring at 6 o'clock and say, you know, your friend Joe has already run 5 miles, and you know, Sue's getting out of bed now, and so encouraging you to get out of bed. And then he'll say, oh, your first meeting isn't until 10 o'clock, you have time to do yoga. So it knows what you want, and it uses social cues and scheduling to make it easier for you to do what you actually want, rather than just whittling away your time with all the meaningless stuff that the internet likes to throw at you. So it's a really deep and thoughtful analysis with a very radical mission. So what Ryan was pitching to me is basically doing that for living like Christ. Like, these are all the opportunities for service. This is what church is planning. This is what people in the area are. So it's a great way to find out what are the impactful ministries, what are the meaningful experiences. Here's how you create your own event. Because he said, you know, for a millennial, asking someone to go to church is really freaky. Sending them a Facebook invite to attend an event is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the platform he wants to build. And so I guess the question for you is, what's a slick demo that we could show to a bunch of wealthy investors in 2 weeks? And if I'm working half-time with a little juice from you and Pat and Dave, that would give people a sense for what that would feel like.
To be invited to do something.
Why don't you think about that for a minute while I spin up a wiki page?
Okay. I actually blow my nose. I'm feeling kind of weird and stuffy. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. Oh, you back?
Yep.
Yeah, I got a few. I downloaded a bunch of. I have the presentation in another window. I can't quite download it. I'm not sure why. I guess I can show it to you. Well, let's see. I reload the page and now it disappeared. Challenge. Let's see. How do I share an image on a Google Hangout? Any ideas? Share my screen.
Not chat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's dragging it back. I'm going to do the, share my preview screen. Let's just do that. So this is evil, screenshots with scroll bars. All right.
Okay.
So the idea is that on faith. Let's see. So the idea is that you identify different practice areas, all the different things that people wish they were doing more of, and giving them a really low friction, high accountability way. That's actually a good phrase. Let me start with defining this. Low friction, high accountability, and then identifying the barriers. This is the next step. Building up the team, getting money, getting advisors, board members, building a platform. He's an event organizer, so he thinks in terms of events, which is something I never even considered. And then all these people he's connected to, with me right there on the bottom. But this is actually probably the thing that we need to build, is modern social elements that demonstrate the motivation, laying out easy steps from lecture to field lab. How do you connect a sermon with practicals? And then triggers and gamification to make it seem fun. So, any thoughts up front?
My first thought when you ask for a slick demo to show people in 2 weeks is, well, we need to get a designer somewhere.
I'm having really trouble hearing you for some reason.
Really?
Hide my video and see if that improves the audio quality.
Maybe. Can you hear me now?
Still very faint. I'm going to mute and then you can talk for a while.
Okay. I'm going to put headphones in because that might, maybe if it's more present, hear better. Okay. I mean, this is not necessarily practical, but the first thing I think when you suggest that we need to show something to people in a few weeks is that we just need a designer, because most, I don't know, in my mind, I guess I don't know, in my experience, when people want to see something, they want to see something. And if you show them something, they'll ask much less questions about whether or not it works, as long as it looks like it works and it looks reasonably cool. And you just sort of have to prove that you can make it work. However, short of having a designer just throw together a few cool mock-up pages and tying them together with flat links, I think the idea has merit, and I think I don't know. I mean, do we just need to build something? Is that really what it comes down to? I hope you're not talking right now because I can't hear or see you. Hi.